Good morning, guys. It is Friday the 15th of November. Just got in. I'm going to get the digger warmed up, go and fill up the burner, and then we're going to be running the C751 Smart by PALAX. So the burner itself is somewhat gone out. There's still embers in the bottom. We're just getting it going again. I am going to empty the bottom out. So I'll put the tray down and just empty out all the ash from the bottom chamber, and that will set us up for the rest of the day. We'll just let them bits of discarded kindling or all the small bits just get going while I clear it out, and then we can load it up with some slightly bigger bits, get it back up to temperature. Thought I would just show you guys what it looks like when we are loading the burner. Bit of smoke. So that's loading the burner with the door open. It's loaded up now. Shut the bottom door. I've cleaned out the bottom. Cleaned out the bottom chamber. Crank down the top. We're gonna ramp it up to 120. So it's at 120. The current air temp is at 50, so that will get into gasification mode now. And within seconds, there's a tiny, tiny whisper of smoke, just as it establishes an ember layer. But I reckon if you gave it 5-10 minutes there'll be nothing whatsoever, but as you can see there isn't any smoke at all. So yeah, very impressive. I do love this burner. Nice and clean burning. Should turn off that light in there, because when you turn on the light, it automatically turns on the extractor fan. So, current humidity inside the kiln is 52, and it was set at 52.5 overnight, because before I left last night it was about 60, so it's come down quite a bit. We're now going to bring that down to about 47 target, which lets it go up to 51. So we're going to keep pulling that wet air out of the kiln. Right. A little bit of the kiln update. So this is, what is this? This is less than 24 hours in the kiln. It went in yesterday about 1 o'clock. It's currently 9 o'clock. Someone can do the maths. I'm not going to do the maths on YouTube again. I'll probably get it wrong. But got a bit of checking going on. It's warm in here. It's not too warm. It's probably about 30 degrees, but as I say, the burner went out early hours as well, late this morning, so it won't take long to get it back up to temperature again. The ideal temperature I found is about 50 degrees C in the kiln. So that doesn't mean pumping 50 degrees C air in, it means 50 degrees inside the kiln. Obviously when the kiln is full of wetter wood at the start of the batch, it's harder to get up to that 50 degrees C. Hence why we keep sucking out the wet air. Yes, we're cooling the kiln every time we suck, but not a lot, because the logs retain the heat. But if you weren't to extract, you're relying on the burner to push out the wet air. Well, I've got myself a coffee in my ATC containers mug. Don't forget, guys, if you are looking for a reefer for a kiln build or just for storage, they are fantastic for storage because they don't build up with condensation. Don't forget to see ATC containers. Brilliant company. Watch out though, because some people did try and copy them and scam people via their name, so make sure it's the right website. ATC Containers Limited. Yeah, brilliant company. That's who I've bought all my containers from, and they've been fantastic. This is a bit like a advertisement ad. Got everything I'm wearing. DA pack, that's where I get all my bags from. If you are looking for vented bags, standard bags, any kind of bags really, go to DA pack, get a price from them. If you want to know more about DA pack, don't forget to go over to the Log Burners Lounge YouTube channel, where we have a walk around of their factory or warehouses up in the north of England. Me and Joseph went round there and saw DA pack's main hub, and it's pretty impressive how much stock they've got in. So not the nicest of timber, I always say it really, but the smaller timber, it's very rare to get pin straight small timber because it is at the top of the tree and it's fighting for the light. But it's real world reviews. That is still a firewood grade. I mean, it's not that bendy, but it just needs a little bit of manhandling to get it into the processor. Alternatively, you could get a slightly bigger processor and it would deal with the bends better, but it might not be as quick. That I'm going to put on the factory pile. I'm pleased I found the Action 3. I thought I'd lost it. It's great for in-cab stuff like this because I still don't have a tripod for the Osmo Pocket. Now, quite a lot of the small stuff to my right now is extremely bendy, and we're going to put it on the chip pile, I think, because it's hard work. It's very hard work to process, and time is money at the end of the day, but also we don't want to damage the machine. If you're doing extremely bendy timber, sometimes the blade can catch, or I don't know, it seems hardly worth it, if I'm honest. There's going to be a very small percentage out of each load that you don't want to process. And I'll be honest, we've had so many loads in that it's actually amounted to a little bit now, but we've got a chip pile. We can sell the chip when it gets to a good price. Sell the chip. We'll be making a very slight lot. Well, we will be making a loss, but that being said, it's better than nothing. Or we can leave it there, and if we get stuck for burner fuel, we can chainsaw it up into blocks and run it through the boiler. That's probably something we'll do. I mean, got some very very small timber here. Just want to get this smaller stuff without all that rolling down, then we can do it. Not bad. So this is going to be some small stuff, and then I'll try and grab try and get some kind of 6-way stuff, but I can't really see too much of it if I'm honest. It's either 4-way or it goes straight up to factory. Another grab for the smaller stuff there. I need to mend this pin on the right hand side of the timber trailer, I know. You don't need to tell me. What I am planning, I don't know, we're not going to have time, that's the trouble. But kind of stripping this trailer back and making it a lot wider. Not making the whole trailer wider, but making the bolsters wider, making them stronger. Really beefing it up. And having the timber bolsters perfect width apart, maybe like 2.6 meters, because at the moment they're either, well, on the left hand side there's 3 holes basically, front, middle and back. On the left hand side it's in the front and the middle, and it's probably only 1.5 meters apart. Or you go on the other side and they're probably 3 meters apart. So if we get any 2.8 meter stuff in, it falls through. Oh no, fogging up. So yeah, if we get any 2.8s in, it falls through. So what I'm going to do is set up timber bolsters to about 2.4, 2.6, and I think that would be the perfect width apart. Right guys, so I've left the machine running for 5 minutes just to warm up the oil a little bit. Set up here, look. Okay, so I've just done a factory reset, just to try and reset the system because it actually looks funny. So anyway, I've got the X-Aim on, I've got the half strip function on. Come down, yeah. And then we can also set it up so it's automatic. At the moment I've only got it set up. Stuff there. I'm just going to roll off there because we're going to run them through when the 6-way wedge is on. Right, back and forth. So at the moment guys, I've got it set up so I have to manually bring the log in myself, and then when I'm happy I press the button on the back and it flips it. But as you can see, it's on the half split function. It saves time. So I'll do a few logs like this, and I'm pretty quick at this way of things. There. Chainsaw, let that out. That's pointing so far down, it's not quite reaching the bottom of the log. It's got such a big curve on it. Now I'm going to show you auto split as well. So, take off that first log. Okay, so I'm going to do auto split. This should Okay, so I've had, it brings the log forward on its own and it automatically splits, right? So I don't have to move this any way, I just press the button. Drop, split. Drop, drop, split. Now that is advancing that. As you can see, a lot of the stuff has been split in half or not split at all. It's that small. So not a very good example, but we're going to go on to some slightly bigger stuff now. We'll put the 6-way in and we'll try and show you what's what. I've put the IVCs a little bit too far away, so it's built up one side more than the other, but we'll level them off and we'll give them another go. But I do like that slew on the conveyor. Just keeps us going for a little bit longer. So as you can see, we've got some bigger stuff on here now. Some of it is actually going to be too big, I think. Just have to zip it off the end if it is. That is really quite borderline. I mean, if it was my choice, that would probably be a 6-way anyway. Sorry, an 8-way. So it's the fine line, but I would put that through the factory, no problem at all. So actually, I'll be honest with you, that is going to be very tight through here. We'll give it a go. If not, we'll just shoot it off the end. But I'm going to get another battery for the GoPro, or the DJI Action 3. And then we're going to run this through, and then we're going to have to pack up and clean the machine up for Edwin. But we'll get this through. Right guys, I will remind you before I start, this one has the 6-ton ram and not the 8-ton ram. So on the bigger timber, if it does have a knot, it does struggle. But don't forget, you can spec this with an 8-ton ram, so it's not a problem at all. Let's get going. Got the oil coolers on, so it's obviously working. I've got to change my IBCs over. Right, as you can see, guys, it is struggling quite a lot. But don't forget that it's a 6-ton ram. It doesn't need it. With the half-stroke function, the 8-ton ram will be perfectly fast enough, but stronger. So, yeah. Bit of a shame it's got the 6-ton ram, otherwise it would be a bit of a better demonstration. But it's dealing with it all right. It's cutting well. I had the saw turn up a bit too fast on the first couple, but now I've got it dialed in and it's cutting lovely and making lovely logs. Right, I'm going to have a little switch round, get some more IBCs, and then we'll finish off what we got on that deck. Right guys, so as you can see, I'm trying a few things slightly different. I went into the screen there and I turned off the half split function. I just thought maybe with the 6-ton ram you could act like a bit of a kinetic splitter as such, and the momentum of the full stroke splits the 6-way knife, and it was definitely better, as you can see. But it still is underpowered. You do need that 8-ton ram for sure, especially in these British hardwoods. But yeah, that's why the half stroke is off. I thought the momentum of the stroke coming out will split the log, and it is definitely helping slightly. As you can see, that was a bit of a mess up. But it comes out so fast, this 6-ton ram, which is great if you're cutting and splitting longer lengths. But because we're only cutting 25cm lengths here, you can have the 8-ton ram on a half split function and it will be plenty strong enough and plenty fast enough. So that's what I've kind of taken away from this machine. As soon as you go to the half stroke function on these shorter logs, you don't need the speed of the ram. So it's a tricky one. If you're cutting everything longer, then you would have to run all your logs through with a single stroke like this, and then maybe the 6-ton ram will be better for you if you had some slightly softer hardwoods, or even just running softwood through it. But let me know in the comments what you think. It is definitely slightly underpowered, that's for sure. Right guys, we've all cleaned up. I've given it a wipe down. We did have a pipe go from the timber deck to the processor, which left a fine mist of hydraulic fluid all over the machine. So I've wiped it down, blown it down. I did spray a little bit of diesel where the metal has rubbed off in the splitting chamber, just to keep that from stop that from rusting. Keeps it all nice. We do the same to my machine, so it's good to do it to another machine as well. So yeah, what do I think of the machine? Brilliant. I think there's a lot of fantastic features that have upgraded from the C750. All these little things make up to be a very good machine. The automatic feed-in, the automatic split, that's pretty common on most machines now, but automatic feed-in, we have the automatic wedge that goes up and down, we have the half split function on here, and you don't get that on the C750. So all them little things together make a fantastic machine. On this particular one as well, we've got the hydraulic slew and the oil cooler. It's all good to see, especially if you're running it professionally for long periods of time. The only thing, you know what I'm going to say, guys. The 6-ton RAM. The 6-ton RAM needs to be upgraded to the 8-ton RAM. Like I said, Edwin from Parallels Forestry, who buy in these machines from PALAX, they come pretty much all with an 8-ton RAM, unless you as a customer ask it to be the 6-ton RAM. On the British hardwoods, it's a bit too hard. It's okay for a 4-way split, but as soon as you get up to that 6-way, it's a no-go, as you would have seen in the video. We're struggling quite a lot there. So yeah, 8-ton, make sure you spec it with an 8-ton, but if you can forget about the RAM, let me know what you think in the comment section below, what you think about the PALAX C751 Smart. A new machine to take over from the C750. I'm not too sure if they're going to carry on with the C750. I don't know, actually. Is this now the new basic? I think you probably get a basic model still, because this is swinging and dancing with the computer, joystick. I'll run through a few features that I may not have done when we were running it. This is the wedge up and down on top here, so if you're not using the X-Aim, you can manually push the wedge up and down on here, nice and easy. You have a trigger back here. Try and get this in here. Oh. So you have 2 buttons on the back. The trigger is the cut. So when you press the trigger and you hold it, it cuts. When you let go, the saw goes back up again. So if something goes wrong, you just let go of that and the saw will go back into the housing. If you want to feather the saw down, you press, hold and pull the joystick towards you, and that then feathers the saw down. Okay, and then for the split function, if you haven't got it on automatic split, you just simply press that once and it splits. If you hold it down, it will split all the way to the end, even if you've got half function engaged. But if you just want to press that and you've got half function engaged, it will go halfway. If you want to bring the log in, all you simply do is pull that to the side, and that brings the log in. And if you want to push it back, you can obviously push it back as well. Here we have the second joystick. It's more of a lever, but a multi-function lever. You don't really touch this as much. On the up and down, you have the log deck, if you have a powered log deck, that is. If not, obviously they're not going to plug it in. So yeah, that advances the logs forward onto the feed rollers, and if you want to put it back to separate the logs on the fingers, you can do as well. The left and right simply does the slew on the conveyor, so very simple. Yeah, nice and easy to use. Here you have the saw speed of how fast it comes down into the log. This is what I was messing around with when we got onto the bigger logs. I had it turned up for the smaller logs, but on the bigger logs you want to turn that down, and then you can simply press and hold that saw button and it will come down nice and slowly. Otherwise you've got to feather it down through every log. If you would like to turn on and off the conveyor belt, you simply you pull that back and that stops it. Once you want it going again, off it goes. That's quite handy. So if you're splitting through a 4-way and something goes wrong and you can see a big log going up the conveyor, you can simply pull that, walk up, grab the log and resplit it. So that's quite handy. And this is the speed of the conveyor as well. So everything is on here. It's really nice and neat. On my machine you've got the speed controller for the conveyor down here, which is easy to move, but it's nice having it here. If you're going through some bigger timber and there's a lot of timber coming out that way, you can just turn it up a little bit, increase that speed, get rid of the logs a little bit quicker. If you're doing the small stuff like I was this morning, you can turn it right down. There's no need for it to wear out any sooner than it needs to, and it reduces the noise as well. So I like to run it at the right speed. On and off here is the automatic split function. So as soon as you cut, it will then automatically split, so that's very handy. And on the main computer here, there is so many settings you can run into. You can set how long it takes before the RAM comes out. It's just honestly down to the 0.1 of a second. You can adjust that. Delays and different strokes and how far this RAM comes out, I believe. Lots and lots you can do in this computer. Turn on the X-aim, turn it off. The half stroke feature you can turn off and on. The automatic log coming forward, I don't know what you would call that, but when the log comes forward on its own, that's all on that computer. Honestly, everything is on that computer. It's a really good little computer. Some would say it's a little bit overcomplicated for a processor, but I think once you've spent a week or so with it and you really dive into it and get to know the computer, I think you'll be absolutely fine. Me and Colin on the first day, we were like, blimey, this is crazy. But today, after I'd gone into a little bit more, spent a little bit more time, you're going to be fine. Just take your time and learn the machine. So yeah, the brand new PALAX C750 is heading off to another demo very shortly. Let me know in the comments what you think about this machine. What features do you like? What don't you potentially like? It's a nice, small, compact machine on 3-phase and PTO. There is a PTO shaft in there as well. You move this round, you can put the PTO shaft on, and then you plug these in to the tractor. Little 3-pin plug. Plug those into the tractor, and that will run the screen, and then the other one will run the fan on the cooling system. So yeah, I'm very impressed with it. Who knows, potentially we'll see one back in the yard, but for now we've got the C750. Thank you Powell Forestry and Garden Machinery for sending this down once again. If you are looking to buy a PALAX, head over there. Brilliant company, they'll help you out. They've got quite a few machines in stock, decks in stock. They do other brands as well. Not processors, I don't believe, but they do have, you know, just general forestry equipment. So head over there, check them out. Yeah, I really like this little machine. Very compact. Granted, it can't take the biggest of timber, but that's not what this is for. This is for the small, fast timber. Well guys, that's going to be it for today's video. I hope you like the C751 from PALAX. If you did like this content, don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. It really helps the channel grow. We will potentially be getting more and more machines in to test. Don't forget to leave a comment down below. I will be replying to all of them. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.